Tactical. I saw that at Academy the other day. Almost got one.
I got it at Shields.
All right, guys. So welcome back. This is going to be episode 24. We got a skinny medic. We got a budget. Ted, myself, like always. We also going to have Glock USMC. It should be coming up sometime in the next 10-15 minutes probably. Like always, we're just going to do a quick introduction, starting from my left, Skinny Medic.
Skinny Medic, thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to the chat tonight. If you haven't checked out my channel, check it out. I do the medical prep side of the being prepared.
Cool. Budget? Budget bug out?
Stand by. I have a little.
It's
sorry about that.
Okay.
Brain cramp.
Getting some feedback here. Okay. Sorry. Are you talking to me?
Yes. The guy with the
Okay. Sorry about that. Tactical. Yeah. So I'm Budget Bug Out, and my channel is also it's bug out prepping related, and I take more of a budget approach to it, and I don't buy all the fancy bug out stuff. But yeah, I'm active duty Air Force and volunteer for the Red Cross, doing disaster related volunteer work and preparedness, instructing people how to be better prepared and stuff. So that's what I do.
Very cool. Ted?
I'm Ted Owens. I'm one of the primaries on the AMFAW Channel. As you can see by the banner in the background, I'm also a Glock freak. Ex-infantry, thank you 11bravos.com for that. I'm just kind of one of the drivers, one of the administrators for the AMFAW channel, one of the creators of the AMFAW channel. Just digging what we do.
I just can't believe you say you like Glocks. Now we're gonna have people dislike the video, man.
Well, they're gonna do that just because you're here.
I like Glocks.
Well, with that being said, I appreciate my new subscribers and my trolls. Thank you for clicking on the video. What else? I am not Mexican, even though some people call me Mexican. But with that being said, let's today we're going to talk about prepping and how to start prepping and things like that. But first of all,
did you miss Skinny Medic? No, he was first. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, we got him. Before we get into a whole prepping, if you guys got any questions, go ahead and post it, and I'm going to keep track of those questions. Maybe we talk about it. But before we do that, we're going to do Ted is going to do the Bible verse. Go ahead, Ted.
So the verse today is Psalm 27, chapters 3 through 6. I'll read it to you. It says, "Yes, though a mighty army marches against me, my heart shall know no fear. I am confident that God will save me. The one thing I want from God, the thing I seek most of all, is the privilege of meditating in His temple, living in His presence every day of my life, delighting in His incomparable perfections and glory. There I'll be when troubles come. He will hide me. He will set me on a high rock out of reach of my enemies."
Man, Jesus is so cool.
So that kind of puts us, and the reason I picked that one is because we see this thing going on with Clive and Bundy, and we see that these folks in the Ukraine are going through some pretty tough times right now. I mean, it's going on all over the place. I mean, our globe is popping like popcorn right now. So, and we just got to bear in mind that there are things, greater than ourselves, and so we can do what we want to do to vote in our geopolitical climate, and we can voice our opinions in a geopolitical climate. But at the end of the day, we have the vote we have is when we get on our knees at night and ask for intervention, and that's really going to trump all of the politicians and all of the donations and everything that goes along with that. You have to spend your time at the voting booth on your knees at nighttime, putting it where it goes. So that's it. I'm gonna get off my soapbox tonight, but that's what it's about.
I dig it, brother. I dig it. So, all right. So you also gonna cover Warrior of the Week now?
Yes. So I know you guys are in here and you're watching. And let me see if our Warriors in the. So I put some thought into this one this time. I don't see him. So cool. So everybody that's in there right now, I want you guys to go to Superfly Fat Guy 859. Superfly SUPAFLY Fat Guy 859. Now he is uh, a crazy little guy. He's not a little guy, but he's crazy, and but he's a pretty good dude. Really digging it. He's really driving the AMFAW channel. He's put support videos up. He's hit every one of us, subscribed to every one of us on our channels, and so we want to tell him thanks. And not only are we going to tell him thanks, we're going to show him a little bit of love too. And so we are Superfly Fat Guy 859 gets to pick between either this T-shirt here, which is Thomas Jefferson with a quote, or this T-shirt here, which says Second Amendment, own it, which is very profound. And this is all courtesy of Tri-Parish Police Supply here in Houma, Louisiana. That's my local gun dealer here, the one that I do all my transfers through. And he is a very ethical guy, a guy that will, he will give you the best deal he can give you. And if you tell him you want Ted's discount, he'll hook you up with Ted's discount. So, if you want to order a Glock or something like that online, you probably won't find a better deal than what he can give you. So, give him a look. That's Tri-Parish Police Supply, Houma, Louisiana. Yes, it's a commercial, but I promised him. So, so Superfly Fat Guy 859 is our Warrior of the Week. So we're going to plug into his channel and we're going to hit him up with wow, all my friends are Warriors, nice T-shirt. And so hopefully he'll ping on that, and then I'll send him a PM later on to let him know he won.
All right, cool. I just put his name on the comments so people know who he is.
Cool.
All right, so just like you said, Ted, there's a lot of things going on right now here in the United States, around the world. People going crazy out there. So we've been pushing this to everyone, and I think everybody, a lot of people are starting to prep nowadays, buying firearms, buying food and things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next hour. So if you guys got any questions regarding to prepping, medical supplies, firearms, how much should you, I don't know, how much food should you have, let us know. I know a lot of times I get kind of annoying because we see this preppers that have like 6,000 years of food and like 600 firearms. Yeah, you don't need to have that. This thing could be pretty simple, but we make it difficult sometimes. So
it doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
Trust me. Take it from Budget Bug Out. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Wow. We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about security, medical supplies, and shelter, and whatever else come on. We're going to start with food. So what are some things that you guys think that we need to have in mind when it comes to start prepping, food items? What do you guys think should be a good time? Should be 30 days, 6 months, a year? What do you guys think about that?
What's the Red Cross say?
The Red Cross says that if you're bugging in, and they don't use the term bugging in, but it's more fun to say.
Shelter in place?
Yes. Then you should have a 2-week supply of food and water and other supplies, and you can go to the website for what other supplies they recommend. But for the water, it's 1 gallon per person per day. So that's 2 weeks if you're bugging in, shelter in place. If you're bugging out, or aka evacuating, they recommend 72 hours of those supplies.
Yeah, I would say, me personally, I would prep more for than a week.
It's 2 weeks. Yeah. Well, this is the minimum. This is the minimum recommended. Yeah.
I mean, I think 6 months is a pretty good time. Me personally, I think about 6 months is a pretty good time. If we're looking at about a couple of years, I don't see myself. If something happened where it requires me to have food and I cannot leave my house for over a year or 2 years, it's probably going to be a really bad situation. And the place where I am living right now, I don't think I would be able to stay here for more than a year. I would have to move to a different place where I could establish security and I could have a better, kind of like a compound with a bunch of guys and things like that. So I think for starting, 30 days to 6 months is a pretty good time. Me personally, if you're starting, remember we're talking about starting to plan for this. We go always increase from there, of course. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right on the 6 months. That's kind of what my family and I look at. We have the canned goods, we have the frozen goods, but a lot of people forget about like a garden, just something simple as a garden. If you can't do a garden, raised beds or even pots outside of your apartment, just something getting going so you can have food that's coming in besides the canned goods you put away or the dried food or the frozen food you put away.
Yeah, I'm currently moving things from one pot to another pot, and then have a inside greenhouse, and then I'm going to just move it out after Mother's Day. We have a raised garden that we're going to be doing. I might do a video on it. I don't know. It's still in its baby stage. It's not as far as yours is, I'm sure, Skinny Medic.
My raised beds have done really well. In years past we've done a traditional garden, and now we're setting up raised beds. And I did a lot of research on it about how they require less water, and they're less to weed. They're not as when we go out there to pick through. There's not as much weed growing as there was with the traditional garden. So we're doing raised beds, and they're doing very well for us.
What I think too is our friend Bisquick's in the shadows there, stalking us from a distance, and you guys know I'm a fan of his. He's one of my favorite guys. But one of the things I want to do, and it's no secret that the wife and I are going to be building a house later on this year, and I want to kind of explore and dig down into, because we can all can and buy canned vegetables and dehydrated vegetables and stuff like that. But preserving meat short of canning is kind of a dying art form. And in the old days, and it wasn't even really in the old days, when I was a youngster.
The old days.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got me. All right.
You can have freezers then.
No, but it wasn't uncommon for the old folks to have like a ham, for example, hanging up at room temperature over there. It'd been down in the cellar, and preserved that way, or smoked meat and stuff like that. So I want to kind of look into that right there to see how long I could preserve a viable, usable meat through alternative methods besides pressure canning. Some kind of smoking or salt cellar. Some kind of dry curing process.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point, Ted, because a lot of guys talk about, well, for meat I'm gonna go hunting, and you guys don't. Some of these guys don't know how to hunt. Hunting, it requires a skill. Like, I mean, I used to go hunting back in the days. We used to hunt the Taliban, but that requires a skill. If you know what I'm saying, that just requires a skill. And if you put me out there like hunting deer, to tell you the truth, I'd probably be lost. I mean, I know some stuff, and I think I could do it, but it requires a skill. It's not as easy as some people make it seem. I'm just gonna go to the woods and shoot a deer. It's not gonna be that easy, guys.
All the deer can be gone.
Yeah. Plus that, I was gonna get to that point too.
Yeah,
if that's everybody's plan,
with a deer rifle is gonna be out there too. So.
Yeah. Is that everybody's plan? Most likely all the deers are gonna be done. And if you get one, you better watch your back, because 2-3 guys will take it away from you so quick.
Yeah.
So,
well, that reminds me of that scene in the movie I Am Legend, where Will Smith is deer hunting, and he shoots the deer, and before he can go pick it up, 2 lions jump out of the shadows there and drag it off.
Yep.
Or before he could shoot it, actually. And I mean, you just replace lions with somebody else that's starving to death over there. What up?
I would have ate the lion.
Well, that's what but he, you saw there that he kind of had a kind of an understanding with the lion that the lion needed it worse than he did, and you kind of got that just from the way the scene was set up in the movie. And it would be kind of the same way. I don't know that I would be able to put a bullet into somebody, that I caught, that went after my deer after I put it down, or was robbing my traps or something along those lines. So rather than bring yourself into that path where you may have that confrontation, I think it's best, to my mind, is to hold it, internally, to keep your stuff internal, to stock it, to stockpile it, and have it there, and then absolutely defend your preps. Defend what you have to defend, because it becomes a different animal when they enter your, when they come inside your wire. But
Hmm.
outside the wire, if you guys have ever seen Hibernia-san,
Oh yes,
yeah,
he's good.
and he's got a whole series on there on what happens outside in the space, and it's all of his videos are long, and they're all with him doing this, right here, with his poncho liner on. But you can't, video quality aside, you can't take away his skill set. I mean, it's clear he's got a good knowledge base in this, and it's worth the watch to go look at some of those stuff, because if you're a serious prepper and serious mindset along those lines, then you absolutely need to kind of look out for that, because he's got some good knowledge there he can put in your brain.
Yeah, he does. His videos are very, very good. But you, like you said, Ted, you gotta have time to watch his videos. And it's funny because I have every time I travel down to wherever I'm going, 4 or 5 hours in the car, I put all his videos in a playlist, and that's what I watch the whole time, man. So I have had like 3 hours of this guy straight up in the row, man. But he makes good points though. He's pretty good.
He's passionate too. That's what I like about him. You can tell he's not just spouting to hear himself talk. He's really trying to put something in your brain that he wants you to listen to, and his passion really comes through in the video. So we might get him on. Try to get him on as a guest one weekend.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good one.
Yeah, I talked about this in the past. There's a lot of good channels here on YouTube that you could learn a lot of stuff. So, what about? I mean, we talk about meat. What about other things like beans and rice and things like that? What about like MREs? If you go into Amazon, you could buy those meals ready to eat, just like the military. I mean, I don't know how much the boxes go for. Maybe like 40, $50. But what do you guys think about things like that?
Well, if I can plug something real quick, I'm actually doing a giveaway for a 72-hour kit. So if you are looking for those things, stay tuned. Next month I have a giveaway going on to celebrate my my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. But that's it for now.
Well, that's the cool part about it is I have one of those right here in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, right there.
This is a Wise Foods 72-hour kit. Now, I got 2 of these. One of them's going in the AMFAW giveaway. The other one I opened up to check out, and actually, you see that the packets come in. They're pretty flat. It's dehydrated food. I opened this one up to check out, to see what it tasted like, because you see those Cliff bars. That's junk. That's garbage.
Disgusting.
What?
And
You like Cliff bars?
Really?
I keep them on my car.
Gross, man.
Look, they'll get you by. They'll get you by, but you're not going to live on that for a few weeks at a time.
Oh no.
But this you can.
It's for a snack.
All you need is hot water, and honestly, you don't even really need hot water. You just need water. You just need something you can put in there to hydrate this stuff,
Yeah.
to make it palatable again. And you could probably eat that dry, honestly. And back in the day when we were, I spent a little bit of time as a young infantryman humping the bush. When MREs first came out, they were disgusting.
Oh yeah,
You
bro.
really kind of had to cherry pick through them to find some stuff that you would eat, and you'd kind of strip the packet out and go through there and just kind of keep the best stuff out of it. And these you don't have to do that, because there's nothing in any of these Wise Foods 72-hour kits that
Man,
I wouldn't be willing to eat. Even if some of the stuff I don't particularly care for, but it'd be all edible. Tough times.
I tell you what, man. You talk about that. I remember in 2003 when the war started. We got 1 bottle of water a day. 1 bottle of water a day. I mean, that's it. And it was, you got to think, it's 140 degrees out there. And we used to get a lot of times they gave us a sandwich, and it came like all wrapped up, and it was like a little sandwich, maybe about this big. And it was either, like you said, Ted, they give you one and take it and go. And a lot of times they have this tuna sandwiches, and I hate tuna, man. I don't like fish, and which is kind of weird because I'm Cuban. I should like fish.
I thought you were Mexican.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not Mexican. I that was just for my trolls. So I think I'm Mexican, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you guys clicking on my videos. Go ahead and continue clicking. I love it. I love it when you guys just like my videos, by the way. But
it actually doesn't affect how much you get paid either. That's the best.
Yeah, yeah. You know, usually when I put it, I'm sure Skinny Medic does the same thing by now. But when I put a video, I don't get happy until I see the first dislike. When I get the dislike, I was like, yes.
No matter what I do, it's like every video I'll get 2 dislikes, and I'm like, I can't please you. Like, what am I doing?
You know, I got a dislike saying Happy Thanksgiving. I'm like, who the heck
He
give me a
did.
dislike for saying Happy Thanksgiving? And the Glock USMC is in the house.
Awesome.
Hey guys, real quick, if you guys haven't subscribed to the Glock USMC, just go to the search thing in YouTube and just type Glock USMC all together, and his channel is gonna come up, and subscribe to him. Go ahead, brother. You want to do a quick intro?
What do you want me to talk about?
Just talk about yourself real quick.
About your channel.
Yeah, you may know me from Scoop from the Glock Brothers. I kind of rebranded because my brother decided he didn't want to do YouTube anymore, or it wasn't important. So I rebranded as Glock USMC because, one, I love shooting Glocks, and I'm a prior service Marine. I was telling Jarhead 6 that was a corporal in the Marine Corps, and so my channel is basically using all my knowledge from what I learned in the Marine Corps and some of the nasty knowledge I'm learning in the National Guard. I'm applying that to my new channel.
I put this banner up just for you today. Just for you. I hung that up back there because I knew you were.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you. You're too kind, sir.
Yeah,
That's a blessing and a curse.
That's really good that you're in the National Guard now, because you know the Army really needs the Marine Corps leadership and guidance, if you want to put it that way, right, Ted?
Yeah, we live for it. You know, we even sit around the barracks at nighttime going, man, I sure hope some Marines show up tomorrow and show us how to do this stuff.
Yeah, right.
We didn't have it figured out in Bastogne or D-Day, a place like that. Well, you guys were off on Okinawa and Tarawa. Yeah, I was storming the beaches in Normandy. I'm just.
Oh, I can't believe you're gonna go there.
Man.
I'll just put it this way. You know, it takes an outstanding bunch of Marines to take the Army's useless crap and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all got some pretty strapped gear, man. Those little amphibs are pretty groovy little pieces of equipment, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Navy appreciates them as much as y'all do.
I got to tell you, Scoot, sometimes I want to talk bad to Ted and his buddies, but you can't, man. These guys are truly hardcore in combat guys. So sometimes I got to stay here quiet and take it.
So Glock USMC, we have one of our AMFAW brothers, Bisquick 30-6, who is in the chat right now. He's asking what your MOS is.
My MOS was a 2146, and what that means is a glorified tank mech or a wrench turner. We worked on the M1 Abrams, and my second MOS that you do if you don't fulfill your role as a tank mech. And in Charlie Company 4th Tanks out of Boise, Idaho, it's a reserve unit I was part of. We would double up as what you call an 1800, which is just a tank crewman. And that you can fulfill the role as a driver, the loader, gunner, and sometimes there was tank mechs who would double and qual in both and become the TC, which is the tank commander.
Nice.
Right. Yep.
You ever seen those tanks fire, Ted? I'm sure you've seen it.
No, I was infantry.
Yeah, but you ever did any missions with those guys?
No, we did the tank rollover in boot camp, and in Desert Storm, those guys, man, were running and gunning. They were so far out in front of us, Actually, they went one way and we went another by Blackhawk. But yeah, I've seen them fire some stuff up from a distance over there, and I think it's pretty impressive. And,
yeah.
When you're humping a 45 to 60 pound rucksack, and you see the guys go by in the tank, you're going, man, that's the job to have. But at the same time,
no disrespect to you, sir, about my previous comment. I appreciate all those that serve, no matter what uniform they wear, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. They're all heroes in my book. Anybody that puts on that uniform and is willing to shed blood for this country is a true hero in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, and I've even got some guys I know that are in the Coast Guard, and I have a really good time with those guys, by the way, and because they're basically
Oh,
infantry.
you you know how it is. Everybody talks smack in a way, but we all love each other in some kind of way. If you serve in the military, we all brothers. We all did our part. Um, Now some of them did it better than the others, but we still did our part.
Well, maybe you can agree with this, Jarhead Six, and this is a funny thing because I get this asked a lot of the time, and I never knew what the answer was to say to people until like recently that it just kind of a light bulb effect kicked on my head. People ask me, why do the Marines think they're so great? Why are the Marines so great? Why are they so prideful? And I never knew what to say to them. And to anybody who asks me that now, I say, when you know your heritage, when you know where you come from, when you know what the Marines did before you can't help but be proud of that.
Yeah.
And I think today that sometimes that not I'm not bagging on the Army, but some of them do not know the stories that make the United States Army great,
No,
or
I
some of them do
absolutely
not
believe it.
know the stories that make the United States Air Force great, or the Navy. The pioneers, our forefathers, those that came
Well,
before us. They don't
because
know
the
that.
big Army and big Air Force
Hmm.
have made it impossible to do that. Now you got to understand there are more people in the United States Air Force than there are in most cities in the Midwest.
Hmm.
Um, they don't have really, you got to remember that initially, and I'm not bagging on them, all right, so don't think that budget. It's not the case. Uh, they were a spin-off of the Army, though. In World War One, there was no such thing as the Air Force. They came in as the Army Air Corps, and actually the first pilots were enlisted guys. They weren't even officers. And then uh, they found that niche, and they divided those two, where they still kind of have the same T&E. They still have the same, well, other than those really cool Tiger Stripe, ABUs these guys got, which are awesome. Um, they as a matter of fact, the service that manages the PXs on an Army base is AFES, and that's Army Air Force Exchange Service. I mean, that's how tight they are just as tied in as the Navy and the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, and so like Jarhead Six said, we really like the Air Force because they would give us a ride whenever we would go to
Yeah.
it was those initially the Army Air Corps was the guys in World War II that flew those C-47s that those guys bailed out of over Normandy and man, Market Garden and all those cool operations. Getting back to your original comment, um, the specialized units in the Army, the specialized units in the Air Force, they know their heritage and they know their history. Um, it's those, and you have to credit to those really hardcore Strack NCOs that took the time and said, "Hey, son, do you know why they call this, Sandy? Do you know why this road is Bastogne? Do you know why?" Right? And they're going to tell you that history. And that was with the 101st Airborne, and that's no secret.
It's very
Um,
true.
you can go back and you can trace all the way back to when the 101st stood up, and they were spun off from the 101st Infantry Division back in the day, out of New Orleans, by the way, just so you know. And they have their history traced all the way up. And here recently, in the last 10 years, the 101st Airborne had the 4th Brigade Combat Team, the 4th BCT, and they were that fourth element, because there's 3 brigades with the 101st Airborne. They had that fourth element. Well, they just furled their colors yesterday. So they stood that unit down again because the need is no longer there for them. And they have a proud history. And same as the Marine Corps. That's why the Marine Corps is so elite, because you guys are essentially one of those elite divisions, like the American Army has, like the U.S. Army has in the 82nd or the 101st or the Big Red One or one of those. They all know their history because they have that elitist mentality, and I think that's why the Marine Corps has that same kind of elitist mentality. They know their history. They they could trace back to the first drop of blood, literally all the way back to the first drop of blood. And of course, the Army goes all the way back to Lexington and Concord. I'm just saying, but you guys can go all the way back, near there.
Guns Tavern.
Back when you guys
76.
Back when you was the Naval Infantry, by the way.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, there's certain career fields in the Air Force where they're real proud to be, combat controllers or whatnot, and they're real gung ho. Yeah, PJs. There's a few of them, but some of my coworkers, who were not in a specialized career field, in that sense, anyways. I mean, they just whine, and I'm just like, don't you realize, what you're doing is making a difference? And they're like, oh, I know, I just want to serve my first one, and then I want to get out. And
I never call them co-workers. I call them devil dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. But we're especially the Air Force. The Air Force is like
Come
this.
here, devil.
Probably a little bit of the Coast Guard. We're not very, very militarized. So Air Forces, and we're trying to change it to be, we're warrior airmen. No, we're still professional, more than we are warriors or professionals, more so. We have more technical kind of jobs, but that's something that I really feel like the Air Force has this problem, probably more so than the other branches, that we just don't take.
No, man, we all do a job, man. I mean, I tell you, I was in a situation, and I talked about it many times. I don't know if I talked about it here, where 300 guys were overrunning the base that we were. I mean, 300 people running inside bad guys running inside a patrol base, and I mean, you could picture it. Snipers went into the towers and took out people. I mean, like, guys were climbing up the sides of the wall. I mean, full Call of Duty, if you could picture Call of Duty. And I remember, the planes flying by, and a couple of them shot flashbang and a bunch of things. And you could talk about the Air Force all you want, but when you see those fighting planes coming over your base, you love those guys. You're like, we love you, Air Force.
I think probably as an infantryman, probably the coolest thing I ever seen in my life was an A-10 coming in low and slow over the horizon back there. That's close air support, because, man, those things make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you see them.
All you hear is that buzz.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
All right, so this is what you love about this conversation. We were talking about something else, but hey, Scoot, we were talking about food supplies for how to stop prepping. And the first thing that we were talking about was food. So anything else you guys think that we need to cover related to food? We talked about meat. We talked about meals already cooked. You guys talk about anything else that we need to talk about in food?
I dehydrate as well. I don't know if that kind of goes along with similar to to other stuff, but I make jerky and stuff. But I think we covered it as far as what I know about food.
Okay, what about we're gonna start now talking about security, and the first thing on security is weapons, and this is a thing that I know I have been talking about it here in my channel, but when we talk about weapons, people get really stressed out because everyone wants to buy an MMP or a cool AR-15, so I look all cool, and YouTube or whatever. But there's a lot, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good choices out there. I talked about the H&R pump. It's $179 on Walmart. Some of the used pistols. You can find a used Glock for what, Ted? Help me out.
You can still get a used Glock for $350, $370 if you go through what's the
Were you talking about the military and police exchange?
Yes. They got that, but there's also a used gun website, huge.
Arms list.
Arms list,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So, Scoot, you want to talk about that? What do you think about weapons when it comes to the guys that is prepping for the first time? What do you think?
Well, I like to kind of lean on a main prepper's advice. He talks about a circle, and on that circle is food, weapons, and all that different sort of stuff that you need for being a prepper. And basically, you're going to take the allotted amount of money that you have, and and just spend a little bit. And as you get more money, the circle grows. And with weapons, everybody speculates a whole bunch of different things, but like, some say for each gun that you have, you need to have at least 1,000 rounds for it. Well, someone who's just starting out prepping may not have the money just to drop on 1,000 rounds of 9mm or 40 caliber or 223 or 7.62 by 39, whatever it is that they're trying to prep for. And so I like that mentality that Main Prepper says is just whatever your budget allows, start there. So like if you can't buy a Glock pistol brand spanking new, and that's what you're dead set on getting, search some of these resources to find a used pistol, or maybe go with something a little bit cheaper that you can get your hands on. I mean,
the best gun is the gun you got.
Yeah, the best gun is what you got. Or to take it one step further, it's better to have a little bit in your cache of prepping, whether it be food, guns, water, or shelter, or whatever it is that you need. It's better to have a little than nothing.
Agreed.
And I always tell people that when they're like, well, I don't know what to prep, and so I turn them on to Main Prepper's thing of teaching them how to basically create your circle, and around that circle divide it how many things that you think that you need, and then budget for those things. Sometimes you can go down to the Army surplus store and get secondhand prep items that are just as good as the latest and greatest. They're from North Face or whatever.
Well, man, you can check out Craigslist and garage sales and flea markets if you're that guy. Heck, I got a buddy of mine who's this guy would hit every Goodwill store he can find. And hey, but I think he was a little bit of a hoarder more so than a prepper.
Well, that's a fine line we sometimes cross. Hoarder, prepper.
Yeah, well, ask my wife which one she thinks I am.
Yeah.
Well, I know the United States government thinks that we're hoarders. But,
terrorists.
Domestic tourists. I mean terrorists.
Christ, you guys say that now they're gonna be listening to my phone call.
Oh, now they heard it. Now
Now they want to take.
They're out there listening for that word.
Well, they've already been listening to us. The great state of Utah, where I'm from, just 20 minutes from here is the NSA building, and I have my great Senator Orrin Hatch to thank for that. I really appreciate that he takes a million gallons of water from a state that's in a drought right now to cool those servers. But
Wow.
All in the name of security, right?
Yeah.
I think people forget about magazines as well when you're talking about firearms and security. They have their battle rifle, their battle pistol, but they forget about having magazines for that ammunition. If you have 1,000 rounds of ammo and 3 magazines, that's not doing you very much.
That's very true.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm a mag hoarder for sure, and so I mean every time I try to, and even for the AR, I got a bunch of those old Joe mags, and I used to be able to just about buy those things a case at a time, 100 to a case for like, I don't know, $250. You can't do that anymore. But now, a Joe mag's still going to cost you $10-12 even used.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with those GI mags.
I grab them every time I get a chance.
Sometimes you get lucky in some of the gun stores locally where they'll have sales on them for like around $10, and if you can, and it's allotted in your budget, I mean, grab them. Because most of the time they have the anti-tilt in it already, and you don't have to, buy the Magpul insert for that. A lot of the companies are catching on, but that's what works.
Yeah, you can buy a 5-pack of those non-tilt followers through Brownells for like $7.
Yeah, I got handgun magazine, and this one only cost $10. I got home defense magazines. See, we don't talk about magazines too much in the Air Force, but in the Air Force, these are the magazines, and this one.
Not those kind of magazines.
Oh. Those are Air Force magazines.
Air Force mag. Yeah, we have these in our desk sometimes.
They're all tactical too, by the way.
In between.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't call them clips.
one other quick thing that like
That was awesome,
is a
dude.
good thing to share.
I put
Is
then I
that,
put clips in
as we
here.
talked about,
I put
go ahead.
clips. Right. I put some clips in here sometimes.
The clips in there.
I got clips.
Okay.
My bad. Go ahead, Scoot. What you saying?
Hey, so but the other thing that while we're on the talk of weapons and stuff like that, each person shares valuable information or has acquired valuable information through their life, you know, and we need to share that with other people that are in our community. I mean, you don't go off and share it with somebody you just met, because most of the time they walk away from you thinking that guy's a crazy son of a bitch. What's wrong with him?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, elders passing down the knowledge to the younger generation.
I think one.
For those of us who have kids, sharing that knowledge.
I think one thing that when it comes down to firearms that we need to go away from it, and I know it's going to be difficult because it is way too cool. We are not operators, and I was going to do a YouTube video on it. I'm probably going to do it sometime in the
Speak
future.
for yourself, Marine.
But I'm saying it's the truth, man. We are civilians. We are not operators. We need to get out of that mentality where we need a $2,000 AR with a awesome chest plate and magazines and a helmet and attach a shotgun to our back and walk the streets of North Carolina. That is not what's going to happen.
You can have a $500 plate carrier
Mm-hmm.
and a kid with a 22 long rifle
Exactly.
is going to shoot you in the head every time.
Yeah. And we've been preaching that, so we need to get out of that mentality. We are not operators. Now, I'm not saying, and me and Jayhawk talked about this, I'm not saying you don't have to have that. Yeah, by all means, have a plate carrier, have all that stuff. And if you see Chinese people coming from the sky, that should be your clue to go ahead and put it on, because the thing is about to go on, But what we need is a basic firearm, a basic backpack, and the whole gray man concept that we've been talking about, and that's what people need to concentrate on. Buy yourself a 9mm, whatever caliber you want, have some bullets, buy an AR and all that, and if it happens and you need to use it, you use it. But start. I guess my point is start with the basic. Don't save all the way to the higher AR. You don't need that. You're not gonna need help me out, guys, because I'm going on a rant right now.
I agree.
I'll bring it in here for you. I think what you're trying to say is the best way to prep in a weapon mindset, as far as like the operator mentality versus gray man mentality, is that Sun Tzu said it best: know your enemy. And so if the enemy, God forbid, is the United States government turning on its people, who are they going to go after? Everybody's coming out in their full plate carrier, operator status. They're just going to go ping, ping, ping from 1,000 miles away.
Yep.
If you look like the gray man sort of area, and you're adapting to your scenario, adapting to the situation around you, you play your odds.
Well, every one of you guys that are listening to me right now, I've been in a restaurant, especially in the days after that movie theater shooting, and you looked around the room and and you can't say you don't get on an airplane and do the same thing. You look around the AO you're in and you say, all right, who's the threat? You're analyzing the situation over there. Well, that's no exception to what's going to happen in the days after. You go marching down the street with an AR, and there's a guy behind you, block behind you, and he doesn't have anything. Well, guess who's going to get shot first? The guy that's the threat, the guy with the AR, the guy with the plate carrier, the guy with all the cool stuff that I want. He's going to be the first guy smoked. I have a different mentality. I'm going to take that coyote doctrine. I want to stay in the shadows. I'm going to stay on the periphery, and I'm going to keep my head low, and I'm going to move like I'm under observation, and I'm not going to be seen or heard from. I'm not going to engage. It's not going to be an offensive maneuver. It's going to be strictly that weapon I'm going to have is going to be strictly self-defensive, and it's.
I like to call it the sheepdog mentality. Just overlook the sheeple, stay on the outskirts and just watch.
Because scared people in large numbers are not your friend.
Nope.
You know, we saw that in the days after Katrina when people were just losing their minds. And we're talking about, you know, no more than a couple, 4 or 5 days without power and water. And those folks in New Orleans was losing their minds. And
scary place.
And don't kid yourself that couldn't happen in your neighborhood. You next time Alabama Owens is on, you ask him how folks acted in the days after those tornadoes that went through Huntsville, and you ask those folks in Joplin, Missouri, what it was like for a few days after those tornadoes passed through there. Remember the L.A. earthquakes and even the days after the Rodney King trial. I mean,
the blackouts in New York.
I mean, yeah, we're all, none of us. Well, I think Budget Bug Out said it. How far are we away from it, Budget?
From what?
From anarchy.
Civil unrest.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
2 days? You know, I mean, the supply lines go for about 72 hours.
3 days and we're done.
3 days.
Yeah, I think it was someone else who said that. Yeah.
So it may have been my friend the Skinny Medic. 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
so,
I'll just go down to the supermarket and pick up some chicken and some food and all that sort of stuff. I always tell people, I said, okay,
It'll still be there.
take Black Friday and times it by 10.
well, here's one more.
And you're not fighting over the latest and greatest hot toy. You're fighting over for the last can of green beans.
That's what it's like, and I grew up in Florida. I spent a lot of time in Florida, and that's what it was like right before hurricanes, because people wait till the last minute. They know when hurricane season is, but they still like, oh, wait, it's 1 day out? Oh, crit. You know, in the news, they would always do reports on it, too. But what you were talking about what you look to analyze, and I learned this kind of from my dad, who has experience in law enforcement stuff, is that he always looks for exits first, and then he analyzes. He always keeps his back away from the door. He's always watching the door. He sits in aisles in movie theaters even. Like, I thought he was paranoid, but then the more I learn, the more you start becoming like your parents. It's strange how that works.
Yeah. So real quick before we get into the medical supply part of the conversation, because we're coming up to 46 minutes. Also, remember, guys, I don't think we're gonna have time to talk about this, but go ahead and exercise the plans. Plans like medevac procedures, bugging out, things like that. You should have like a standard operation procedure that you guys follow. Rally points and things like that, so your family is informed. And do drills every now and then. Every 3 months, every month. Just do a quick drill, like as simple as no communication. What about if we don't have any communication right now? What do we do? Your wife may be at Walmart, you may be at your house, and not having that cell phone. Trust me, not having that communication piece could create some confusion, and confusion could get your kill.
So Red Cross recommends that you do that twice a year at least. Practice that.
Twice a year. So with that being said, medical supplies, maybe Skinny Matt, this is pretty much your field. You want to? Oh, wait, real quick.
He's the subject matter expert on this.
Before we get into that, Taylor asked about an MMP 15 Sport AR. Do you guys recommend it?
I would.
It's a Sport.
Yeah.
What's the caliber? 223.
Yeah, probably, right?
It's just like a military AR. It just doesn't have
if you can afford it, and that's within your price budget.
Sorry.
I'm not going to sit there and say that Smith & Wesson doesn't make a great AR-15. I mean, there's so many companies out there that make great AR-15s.
Yeah.
If you can afford it and it's within your price budget, that's the best gun to have.
All right. There you go, Taylor. Go ahead, Skinny Medic.
Yeah, definitely the medical is where I'm passionate about, because I think I posted a while back that these guys will post their plate carriers, their $2,000 ARs, and then they're going to show their surplus IFAC that's expired items. That drives me nuts. That the fact that you're going to pin your life on a $20 IFAC when you want the best of the best when it comes with everything else. So why not do it with your medical supplies?
And so while you're on that subject, go ahead and give them the website for you, because you can get all this stuff through SkinnyMedic.com.
Through SkinnyMedic, and you can get a great IFAC kit.
Yep, you can go to skinnymedic.com. I have everything from boo-boo kits, basic first aid kits, all the way up to trauma kits that are straight by what TCCC is teaching. It's the kit that I carry. I just did a video on it today. I recorded. I'm going to publish it, and it's my trauma kit. So it's the exact same thing I'm carrying that I sell on my website. My basic first aid kit has the supplies in it, the same thing I'm carrying on the ambulance. Now you can go to Walmart, CVS, and buy the little cheap first aid kits, but it's going to come with like 2x2s and like 1,000 Band-Aids, and there are times when we need Band-Aids, but you've got to get good quality gear. Just like your plate carriers, your helmet, your $2,000 AR, you need good quality gear. And with that also, you need the training. Take a class. You can get a CPR first aid class on a Saturday for dirt cheap, and it's going to give you the basic supplies. I try to post a quick tip video. I try to place 2 different videos on my channel just to give you guys the knowledge, so you not only have the equipment, but you have the knowledge.
Yeah. Those quick tips are freaking awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I watch all of them.
Item on my list for my 72-hour kits is Skinny Medic kits for each one of the backpacks. One for me, my wife, and my daughter.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
What that trauma kit was designed for, if we're all at the range, we like to play with our guns. If you get shot in the femoral artery, you have about 3 minutes before you completely bleed out. So you've got to have that trauma kit close by and very accessible.
And you got to know how to use it.
It's not going to make it.
Yeah, and if you got a bag of gear there that you don't know how to use, you don't have a clue about, just showing up with an IFAC saying, hey, I got one. If you don't know what that stuff and how it's used, you're doing more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
It's used to put on your plate carrier, that $2,000 plate carrier, to show that you've got medical.
Yep.
Isn't that what it's for?
No,
what
I mean,
we're talking about today is, in our group, we have a community that we're part of, because I can't be an expert on everything. I can't be an expert on firearms or guarding. So we have a group that we work with, and we have a couple of medical people in our group, and one of them, of course, is me, and then we have a nurse who is more long-term care. So if we are a grid down situation for 6 months, then she knows more about the long care stuff, and I have more of the pre-hospital down and dirty trauma experience. So we have a good mixture of both. So having that combination in your group or your family, I think is very important. And if we do happen to have a crap hits the fan or a grid down situation, having both of them is going to be invaluable.
And you know what?
You raise a good point, Medic, that like with the community, each person has their specialty. There's a lot of preppers out there that have that mentality that I'm just going to take my family, we're going to go off in the middle of the woods, and we're going to survive. Yeah. I mean, nothing could say, what am I trying to say? Nothing could be further from the truth. You're signing your own death warrant by having that mentality. The way it is, you've got to bring it all together. Is each person in your community has to have a little bit of knowledge, and talk to your prepper communities, talk to those that rep, and find out what it is that they do, and kind of get an idea of who they are, and then like, hey, is that somebody that we could have in the community? Is that somebody we could rely on, or do they have that mentality of that they're going to just go off and do their own thing or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw that K-Bar user entered the chat down there, so I want to welcome Tom back to the fight. But that puts me in the mindset, because he reminded me of this. You know what lends credibility and validity to what you two just said, you and Skinny Medic. Every Special Forces A team out there trains, and they have a specialist for everything they do. They have a weapons specialist. They have a language specialist. They have a medical specialist. There may be a couple of guys on that team that are cross-trained in different disciplines, but every one of them have a specialty. And
exactly,
you'll have 2 or 3 snipers on that team. You'll have 2 or 3 heavy weapons specialists. You have a couple of small arms guys. You'll have a couple of medical specialists on there. And those teams, that's why they're successful. Because this guy, if you drop your weapon, he can pick it up and go to work. And if you drop your med kit, that guy can pick it up and go to work. And every one of them have working knowledge of everything. and that's why they're so successful. And this is no different. Where you got a 6-man A team, a 12-man A team, you can extend that, into your community over there and cross-train, your neighbor, for example, or we don't have that here. It's one of the things that I'm lacking is community. I've got some buds, nearby that we could all kind of fall back on, but we all have our own different strengths and weaknesses. So.
Hey, Ted, just real quick, because here in the conversation, they're talking about lawful orders versus unlawful, and I just said pretty much for you guys talking here in the chat portion, a lawful order is an order given by your command, meaning given by your superiors, i.e., if you're a Marine, given by your corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, all the way up, that makes sense. It has to make sense. If you're in a firefight and somebody's shooting at you and your corporal tells you shoot back, that order makes sense because you're in a combat. Some people are shooting at you. Now, if you're walking the streets of United States and your corporal tells you go ahead and shoot that guy, that's an unlawful order because it does not make sense. I don't know if you guys got anything on that. Am I pretty much in point? I just used that out of my brain housing group right now.
That goes right with it. I mean, we have the rules of engagement for a reason, and we don't fire on unarmed citizens. Mm-hmm. And anybody who would tell you different, that tells you right there that's an unlawful order.
Well, let's go back to Kent State. Let's go back to Kent State in 1968, where they fired on, the National Guard fired on students there and killed 4 of them, and in Ohio. So I do think that under certain circumstances they will. Like I said, people lose their mind when the lights go out, and one of the Japanese generals, and I could be wrong. I remember the quote, but I don't remember who said it. Was he was telling his troops that would be during World War II that it would be crazy to attack the U.S. because there are a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Yeah.
And
that was General what's his name, named after the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
I'm afraid
it was the largest Japanese aircraft carrier. That was the general.
Yamamoto.
Yeah. General Yamamoto.
Samsung. Oh.
Yeah, Samsung.
So they
Toshiba, I think it was.
They're very, very tuned to that. But you got to remember, they declare martial law. Those guns you've got squirreled away in the bottom of your closet. Bring that out. You now become a combatant, and when you're a combatant, they're going to treat you like a combatant. So you want to put on your plate carrier and you want to go march out the front door. Just understand that those guys are more trained than you. They are, they're not going to let you hurt them. These guys are coming off of 10 years in the Middle East over there, where everybody was treated as a hostile, and they got dealt with like a hostile when they become a hostile. And if you adopt that same mentality, they're going to have no compunction about putting you to sleep.
Okay, so real quick, well, not real quick, medic. Well, yeah, we're coming up to 57 minutes. Just real quick, I know when I was on deployment, we used to carry our first aid kit, and then we had a bigger kit. You have anything like bigger than just your first aid? Because as a prepper, I would think that we will prep bigger than just our basic individual IFAC. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I keep on my website. I have what I call the first responder packs, and they're bigger packs. I mean, the big one's almost 20 inches in width, so it's a huge bag. So, but having multiple bandaging, having all that supply stored away is what needs to do. You got to do it. You got to have a first aid kit in your car. Multiple first aid kits for different situations. Like they were saying, the Hurricane Katrina. I mean, if something natural disaster comes, 911 is not going to be there. The EMS paramedics are not going to come. They're just going to be overwhelmed. We're already overwhelmed with normal 911 calls. If we have something bad come in, there is no 911. So you're going to have to be able to help yourself with just minor bleedings and basic medical emergencies.
Well, even your long-term chronic meds that you take every day, you better have enough to get you through that event. If you're on heart medicine or high blood pressure medicine or something like that.
Even look at like the fish antibiotics. I mean, I know that's kind of a touchy subject, but it's when my wife and I stock amoxicillin. It's fish mox, and you can get it without a prescription. But my wife and I, and our family and my group, for that matter, stocks fish amoxicillin just for the antibiotics if we need it in a grid down situation.
I've heard of that. I've heard people doing that. How much meds should someone have for an emergency? I don't know if I've heard that answer before. Like if someone needs something.
If you can talk to your family physician and try to get at least 2 months of your prescription medications on hand, and then I get, when Walmart puts on sale, like the Tylenol, aspirin, Benadryl, all that, we store it because all of those medicines are good past the expiration date. I know the FDA doesn't want to talk about it, but those medicines are all good well after 5 years, 10 years after they expire. So having these medicines, the Benadryl, the aspirin, the Tylenol stored could be life-saving in a grid down situation.
Very cool, very cool. All right, Ted, you want to go ahead and jump in your piece?
Yeah. So as you guys know, the Alabama Owens channel, and by the way, our brother is still not here this week, but hey, we've got you on our brain there, Alabama, so you're not far from our hearts. So it's our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and we've been telling everybody we were going to do it tonight, and tonight is the night. And so I have the names on a piece of paper in here on 308 brass inside this copy. We're going to do our drawing right here, announce the winner, and that winner is
Dun. Drum roll.
D. Will Hoyt, Kentucky Guns and Fun.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Colonel David Will Hoyt, and I already have his address because he was a donator. So I'll be in touch with him to get that those packages, plural, shipped out. And
send it to me too for the thing I'm sending, the backpack.
Okay, will do. And so because our Warrior of the Week was Superfly Fat Guy 859, I have some other goodies for him. So we're going to give him a 72-hour food kit. He's going to get a T-shirt of his choice. Like I said at the beginning, I have an extra cook set for him. I've got a little care package I'm going to give to him too, kind of as our second place prize package. So I wanted to thank everybody for that. And Glock, do you know how to close us out?
I do not know how to close this out.
All right, Marty, if you will, never mind here.
Yeah.
Should we talk about upcoming stuff?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead and starting with Skinny Medic. You got anything going on?
I'm going to be in Western North Carolina on May, I think it's the 16th through the 18th, doing a conference in North Carolina. So if anybody's local in the southeast area, I'm going to be hosting 2 first aid classes at Haywood County Fairgrounds in North Carolina.
Cool.
That's cool.
Budget?
Let's see here. This weekend, well, Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be helping out with a SEER class. I don't know if you all know what SEER does, but it's the Special Forces, and they help recover. They basically help train on survival. So I'll be doing that. I'm going to try to get footage of that for my YouTube channel. Also be taking a CCW class as well, and I'll be recording footage as well for my channel for that. So look for that, and also be taking a CPR class as well. So maybe I'll know a fraction of what Skinny Medic knows.
Cool. Glock USNC, you got anything you want to plug in, bro? Go ahead, it's your time.
Other than I'll be on the Thursday night show with the Tac Daddy, but I'm going to be having a couple videos with a local company I work with called Ready Gunner. Going to be showing some of the stuff that they've got in their shop to go check out. Other than that, I've got some top secret stuff that from a local guy here with some cool new gun things that you should be watching out to share.
Very cool. Ted?
Well, I'm going to continue to drive the AMFAW channel. I'm also going to be helping the Alabama Owens with his channel for a little while until he gets back in the fight. Mm-hmm. So you'll see me back and forth on both channels putting up vids, and we're looking forward to the next big I'm sorry, Bisquick got me with the comment.
Yeah, I know,
there.
man.
Yeah. He's going to threaten my shrubbery.
Yeah.
Anyway, he threw me off, but that's all I got going on.
Yeah. I got just real quick. I got a new gun for you guys. I got the new MMP Chill 9mm. So I'm gonna go do some shooting with this. So you guys that say that I only buy Glocks, you run. I also got a new holster, and I made contact with this guy that builds this holsters because I really like it. I got to tell you, and he said he's gonna give my subscribers a discount. So I may do a video, put the information, and he may give you guys a discount. If he doesn't give us a discount, I'm not gonna advertise his company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he said yes, that he's gonna give us a discount. So I gotta work on that. I'll be putting the video out on that. Other than that, I don't have anything else going on. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys haven't subscribed to the guys here in the panel, go ahead and subscribe. All the description, the channel descriptions is in the description box of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. You want to close us out, Scoop?
That all my friends are warriors.
Oh yeah.